Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, today we're jumping into something that the source material calls an urgent issue for anyone who's even thinking about studying in the United States. There's a proposed rule change that could completely change the game for international students, so let's break down what's really at stake here.
And this quote, it really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? This whole thing isn't just about policies and paperwork. It's about the very real stress and uncertainty for young people trying to build a future, thousands of miles away from everything they know. It's a perspective we've got to keep in mind.
So what's going on here? Well, the Department of Homeland Security recently proposed a new rule. And it's not just some small adjustment. The source material calls it a tectonic shift in policy. And, as you're about to see, that description is spot on.
At its core, the whole idea is to get rid of a flexible system that's been working for decades. That system is called duration of status, and it would be replaced with a much more rigid, fixed-term approach. Basically, we're talking about swapping a framework based on your academic progress for one that's all about a ticking clock.
Okay, so to really get what's happening, let's put the old rule right next to the new proposal. The difference is pretty stark, and it really shows you just how big a change in thinking this is.
Wow, you can really see the contrast here, can't you? The old rule, duration of status, it's built on trust. As long as you're a student doing what you're supposed to do, you're good. But this new rule, it slaps a fixed 4-year maximum on your stay. So if you're doing a PhD, which almost always takes longer, all of a sudden the pressure's on you to file for an extension.
And this just throws a whole bunch of new hurdles in the way. I mean, can you imagine? You're buried in your dissertation research, and suddenly you have to drop everything to deal with a visa extension. Or you finally land that amazing postgrad work opportunity, but now you have to juggle 2 different application processes. And hanging over it all is this constant fear that one tiny mistake, one delay, could lead to disaster.
And that brings us to something really, really serious. Unlawful presence is not a term you ever want associated with your name. Under this proposed rule, if your visa expires while you're just waiting for an extension to get approved, you could start racking up unlawful presence. It's an incredibly high-stakes game where a simple bureaucratic delay could torpedo your entire future in the U.S.
But here's the thing, this isn't just about the stress on one student, or even thousands of them. The source material warns that this could create a massive ripple effect, one that could wash over American universities, local towns, and the entire U.S. economy. So what's the first thing we'd see? Well, according to educators at NAFSA, we could see a potential drop of 30 to 40% in new international students. I mean, that is a huge number, and it would have immediate economic consequences. And that drop? It's not just an abstract number. It translates directly into a potential loss of $7 billion for the U.S. economy every single year. That's money from tuition, housing, food, you name it, just gone. And it doesn't stop there. That financial hit puts over 60,000 American jobs on the line. We're not just talking about professors and university staff. We're talking about people who work at local restaurants, bookstores, and all the small businesses that rely on a busy, thriving campus.
And the source points out that this policy, well, it wouldn't hit everyone the same. It would disproportionately affect students from certain countries. And, get this, it would especially hurt those enrolled in the very programs that are the engines of innovation, like PhDs and advanced STEM degrees, which almost always need more than 4 years to finish. Okay, after hearing all that, it's easy to feel a little panicked, right? But the source material really stresses that the key here isn't to panic, it's to prepare. Knowing what's coming and having a strategy, that's how you navigate this. So what can you actually do about it? Well, the source lays out 5 really clear steps. First, when you apply, think about the full time you'll need. Build in extra time for your thesis, for internships, for delays. Second, be meticulous about compliance. Keep that full-time status and make sure your records are perfect. Third, keep an eye on the federal registry. This is still just a proposal, so you can make your voice heard. Fourth, plan way ahead for your career after graduation and budget for those legal fees. And finally, number 5, have a plan B. Know what other countries, like Canada or Germany, are doing to attract global talent. All right, for our last section, let's pull back and look at the bigger picture, because this isn't just some dry immigration rule. This is a decision that could have huge consequences for America's place in the world.
First, to really get what's at stake, you have to wrap your head around this number, $40 billion. That's what international students pump into the U.S. economy every single year. They are an absolute economic powerhouse.
But look, It's not just about the money, not even close. The value they bring goes so much deeper. They bring fresh ideas to research labs, new perspectives to classrooms, and a cultural richness to communities that you just can't put a price tag on.
And this last quote, it just perfectly sums up the argument here. By treating these incredibly talented people like they're just temporary visitors with a clock ticking down over their heads, it's not just unfair to them. The source argues it's strategically short-sighted for the country itself.
So, it all comes down to this one critical question, doesn't it? In a world where countries like Canada, Germany, and Australia are basically rolling out the red carpet for the best and brightest minds, is this proposed policy helping the U.S. compete, or, as the source suggests, is it like trying to win a race while deliberately tying your own shoelaces together? It's a question that affects not just the next wave of students, but maybe the whole future of American innovation.